Now, in this chapter, we're going to be talking about transportation. And I think this is a very important conversation because if you get to travel to a Spanish speaking country, or even if you want to practice this vocabulary, you will find it super handy. One thing that I like doing when I travel usually is experience the public transportation. So I compare it with the transportation of Toronto in Canada, which is where I live. So this year, when I went to India, I jumped on a bus with someone, with a local that was with me. And it was a really good experience. It reminded me of the Latin American experience. So we're going to be talking about using public transportation in this section. You want to, you know, board the bus and you want to make sure that you use some basic vocabulary that can help you with the experience. So, you want to confirm the route. So, if you're going to a beach, you can say, or you can ask someone, este bus va a la playa, or este bus va al museo, este bus va al centro de la ciudad, this bus goes to the museum, does this bus go to the downtown of the city, right? To ensure that you are on the right track. For example, I take the autobús, sorry, tomo el autobús cada mañana para ir al trabajo. I take the bus every morning to go to work. Rush hour in Spanish is called hora pico, right? So you want to prepare. For example, if you are in a city like Bogota, my hometown, city with 10 million people, the traffic is crazy, especially in rush hour, right? So you want to be mindful of those things. Maybe sometimes it's even better to walk than taking the public transportation or even taking a cab, right? An example with the term hora pico. Evito viajar en metro durante la hora pico. I avoid traveling on the subway during rush hour. And usually, when you go into the public transportation in Spain or in Latin America in general, you need a ticket. That ticket is called pasaje, right? And you might want to pay it with cambio exacto, which is the exact change. Example with those two words. ¿Cuánto cuesta el pasaje para el autobús urbano? How much is the fare for the city bus? So fare could be the ticket, sorry, pasaje could be either the ticket or the fare. Now, you want to embrace the journey because it really could become like a cultural adventure on wheels when you are in the public transportation, especially in Latin America. It could be very um, unexpected. You see people entertaining sometimes in the bus or selling stuff, right? Selling candy or chips or gum or whatever, because people have to look for informal ways to make ends meet. So you might enjoy as spontaneous entretenimiento gratuito, like street musicians on board. For example, siempre hay alguien tocando la guitarra en el autobús. There's always someone playing the guitar on the bus. And I remember when I lived in Colombia years ago, it was actually a really good experience. Like when you were sitting in the bus, and then someone would jump in with a guitar, and then you knew that they were going to play a song or something. And then a lot of the time, the experience was really nice, and they were very talented. Some of the time, maybe not too much, but again, it's kind of like you stay entertained. You want to use monedas for transactions where tickets or billetes or pasajes are involved, right? Monedas is coins. So necesito monedas para el parquímetro. I need coins for the parking meter. Or necesito monedas para pagar el bus. I need coins to pay for the bus. Always you want to validate your tickets upon boarding to avoid fines, right? You want to validar is the verb. Debes validar tu billete al entrar al tranvía. You must validate your tickets when you get on the tram. And there's, of course, there's some cultural norms, some courtesies that you want to take into consideration when you are enjoying or experiencing, because maybe sometimes you will not enjoy the public transportation. So beyond the destination, the culture on transit, right? You can engage with the locals. Remember that it's about practicing and putting yourself out there and making mistakes and building the confidence that you need to acquire new vocabulary and to put everything into practice, right? So you can ask for recommendations like a Plaza Mayor. For example, if you are in a city like Lima, so, say for example that you are gathering some friends there or something, you're meeting some people there, so you can say, nos encontraremos en la Plaza Mayor a las 6. We will meet at Plaza Mayor at 6. Also, acknowledge the driver or the conductor with a friendly gracias when you disembark. I don't know why now I'm thinking about this. Every time I take the public transportation in Toronto, especially the bus, because when you are in the subway, you cannot talk to the drivers. But in the bus, I always say thank you, gracias to the driver, and some people that feel that they look at me kind of weirdly, or some friends and stuff. They say, "Why do you have to say thank you to them?" I'm like, well, because they're providing a service. But I think also it's because I'm used to do that here. So when in Colombia and Latin America in general, right? So for example, siempre le doy las gracias al conductor al bajar del autobús. I always thank the driver when I get off the bus. Also, embrace the unexpected turns. Sometimes, and we discussed this already, sometimes it's about getting lost in the place where you are. And if you are, right, put some humor on it and tell people, estamos perdidos, like your group of friends or something. Estamos perdidos, are we lost? With a bit of humor and camaraderie, and you will have a better experience for sure.